Okay, so I've got a few slides left, but I don't think this video will take too long. So let's talk about assault and battery. Typically, you hear assault and battery used at the same time to imply one crime or that they must go together. But it's not one single act. There's assault and there is battery. They are two separate offenses. Battery is touching, hitting, punching, fighting, like that actual making contact with somebody. Slapping, hitting, punching, those are all battery. Assault is just no actual touching needs to occur. It's just frightening the victim by word or deed. So, assault is like saying, I'm going to punch you. Battery is actual punching. So, assault and battery often go together, but do not have to go together. By scaring someone and putting them in physical danger, that could be assault. Battery is actually punching them, putting them into that danger, okay? So make sure you understand that. And if that's something that you're not quite clear on, let me know whenever we get together live so that we can cover that a little bit more in depth, okay? Acquaintance and family assault. This is, most often child abuse. This could be also maybe like an elder abuse or spousal abuse. But going to talk about child abuse for a minute, you'll hear terms like neglect. Neglect is just not providing the child with the care or shelter that they need as a parent or as a somebody who's responsible, a caregiver for that child. You have a duty to make sure that their needs are met. For example, if I don't feed my daughter over these next couple of weeks, I could be charged with neglect. It's my responsibility as a parent to make sure that her needs, such as food, shelter, clothing, all of those things are met. Child abuse is a little more gray sometimes whenever we talk about like where's that line between punishment and child abuse. And different people, different states, different individuals have different views on child abuse. And so I've talked about when my daughter was in the hospital or whenever we'd have to take her to Children's Mercy for medical appointments due to her prematurity. They have a no spank policy. Now, obviously, I would not spank my 8-week-old child, but there are older children that are 10, 12, 14, all the way up to 18 years old there. And that policy is that you cannot spank your child because they view spanking as a form of abuse. And if you did spank your child on a Children's Mercy campus, you would be referred to a social worker and DFS would be dispatched to talk to you about child abuse, and multiple offenses could result in your child being removed from your home. Parental abuse, spousal abuse, those are pretty common, or self-explanatory, I should say. Parental abuse, abusing your parents. Your parents are going to get older one of these days, and for many of us, that means that we have to take care of our parents, and the role kind of flips a little bit. And spousal abuse are, who, and it doesn't just need to be like a married couple, but who is somebody who's living in your home or that you're engaged in a relationship with, and the abuse that can happen there. Dating violence. When we talk about dating violence, relational aggression, it's just emotional abuse that involves the spreading of rumors, lies, private information in order to harm that partner. So making, a male who may be spreading rumors or lies about a girl that he dated, about things that they did, or that they may have had sex when they didn't, or I think about it more in like a teenage relationship where that whole high school and the rumors that revolve. They could be a form of dating violence depending upon who's starting those rumors and who's perpetrating those rumors. Robbery. Robbery, whenever we talk about robbers, okay? Hold on one second. Let me get my bearings here. All right, so sorry about that. Robbery. I just wanted to give you the book definition here, and I could not find the page where it was at. So, robbery by our textbook is taking or attempting to take anything of value from care, custody, or control of a person or persons by force or threat of force or violence, or by putting the victim in fear. big long definition that just means you're gonna scare somebody into giving you something of value. And so, if you are looking at the textbook, there's a picture of Kim Kardashian. And if you can remember a few years back, she was robbed at gunpoint in her Paris apartment. They took over $10 million worth of jewelry. So it's just using a weapon of some sort or a fear. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to show them. And sometimes in a bank robbery, you might see, I have a gun in my pocket, give me all your money. Well, they never actually flash that gun. They just make you feel like they have a gun. Therefore, you give them that whatever it is that they're asking for. Let's see. Acquaintance robbery. Acquaintance robbery is somebody like that knows you that might rob you. And it's kind of a scary thing to think about, but think about the people that come into your house, your apartment, your dorm room, and who they are, and how well do you know them. And then they might come back for something that they see or want. And in these cases, victims are often reluctant to report because you guys have common friends. And you don't want to be the person who is, reporting a robbery or thinking that you are not being cool, right? Carjacking. Carjacking is simply just taking a vehicle. You've seen it in movies, like hold up a gun, give me your car, the person jumps out, and they take their vehicle. Not super common, especially in rural Missouri. More automobile theft might be, but carjacking, not super common around here. Hate crimes. At the beginning of the lecture earlier, I referred to Dylann Roof, and I want you to, if you can, take a couple minutes and go look at Dylann Roof and what his crime was, and how his crime was motivated in hate, as many different mass murderers have been over time. The individual is hurting or killing because of their hatred towards that group of individual. Hate crimes are sometimes not very popular just because, and I say that and it doesn't sound correct, but I'm struggling to find the words to explain how there's murder that happens, and murder is murder, right? But sometimes the federal government will come in and say it was a hate crime. Well, what took it from just a plain murder to a hate crime, and how do we differentiate that? Well, typically it's just, was that based upon racial hate or some sort of, ethnic, religion, something, gender? Hate crimes are becoming more and more popular, and they're punished more aggressively. Workplace violence. Workplace violence is actually the number 2 leading cause of occupational death. So if you were to pass away or die at your job, it would the second leading cause of that is workplace violence, meaning you've made somebody mad and they've come in and they've hurt you seriously, fatally, or seriously injured you. Stalking. More than 3 million victims each year. Women are far more likely to be stalked than men, and 75% of victims know their stalker in some way. 30% of the stalkers are current or former intimate partners of their victims. All right, that's all I've got for you for Chapter 10 in Criminology. Please make sure that you look up Dylann Roof. Maybe even look at the Kim Kardashian robbery, and make notes. And whenever we get together live during Microsoft Teams, please let's bring your questions to that meeting so we can talk about this more.